It seemed all was fine when the AFL agreed to a massive 7-year broadcast deal with the Seven Network, Foxtel and Telstra. The deal still had free-to-air games every week, and Kayo was the streaming service to provide the rest of the games in every round. But in late December, a big announcement was dropped that has the potential to change how we all watch the AFL in the future and the revenue the league office can make. There is a sense of the unknown beyond 2031 when the broadcast deal is up, and many directions to go in the way we view the AFL. News Corp, owned by the Murdoch family, has decided to sell Foxtel to DAZN in a deal worth a staggering $3.4 billion. It ends a 20-year run of Foxtel being owned by News Corp and Telstra, who decided to create the streaming platform in 1995. There are a lot of boring technicalities in the deal, including paying back loans, News Corp and Telstra gaining small stakes in DAZN, and representation on the company's board. But experts in the entertainment and TV field did see the sale coming months ago. ABC business reporter Nassim Kadem said, "And with new rivals in Disney+, Paramount+, and the expected launch early next year of Warner Bros. Discovery Max, which will include several popular HBO shows currently on binge, it's harder to maintain an edge. Foxtel's owners know this. That's why there's been talk for months that Foxtel Group, which is 65% owned by News Corp and 35% by Telstra, would be put up for sale. Pair all of this with the Murdoch family's struggles, and there was an opportunity for a company to swoop in, and that is DAZN. So who exactly are DAZN? Well, they are a sports streaming service and entertainment platform. The British-founded company is owned by billionaire British-Ukrainian Len Blavatnik. So why does the streaming service want access to the rights to Australian sport, including the AFL? Well, according to their chief executive, it's all part of the want to build a global streaming empire. Australians watch more sport than any other country in the world, which makes this deal an incredibly exciting opportunity for DAZN to enter a key market. Another step in our long-term strategy to become the global home of sport. It's a big part of DAZN, the international space. The service reportedly has over 20 million subscribers from 200 different countries, showing the global reach they have. Now, current Foxtel Group CEO Patrick Delaney will stay in his role. No other big managerial shifts have been announced, so it seems as if most of the Foxtel infrastructure will stay in shape. But one of his quotes did raise eyebrows. Delaney said, "DAZN is in 200 countries around the world with an audience of 300 million people. We currently represent AFL and NRL internationally. We'll now be able to push that through 200 countries." Could this really be the start of an international push of the AFL? We know the competition has tried to spread over in China, which was a flop, and New Zealand, which went okay, but DAZN always mention their international reach. It's a big flex of theirs, and after 2031, if the AFL keeps growing at its current pace in Australia, international game passes and advertisement might be the next step. The NRL did this with Las Vegas in 2024, and somehow, if the AFL gets promoted enough on DAZN in the future, we might start playing games overseas too. It's a possibility. Now, you might have concerns that because DAZN has so much sport, they might put minimal resources in the AFL broadcasting. That's not to worry. Foxtel will run locally with headquarters in Sydney and Melbourne. It's clear so far that no massive changes are being done to the way AFL is broadcasted for now. Kayo will still be Kayo, although it is expected to change names in the future, as well as the name Foxtel. Most of the business reports and opinions by experts do speak about the handover in a positive way. So is there anything to be concerned about later down the line? While DAZN hasn't had the smoothest transition into becoming one of the biggest global streaming services, Since DAZN has taken over the international Game Pass for the NFL, there have been a raft of complaints about its quality. Over time, it seems to have improved for most. It might just be a per person case rather than a 50% of users issue, similar to the way Kayo has struggled streaming during its existence. In 2023, the service also agreed to urgently improve their broadcasting of the Italian Serie A after major complaints about quality and even a talking to by Italian government ministers. Now, with 20 million subscribers, not everyone will always be happy, and besides these couple of issues, the service has done its job, and it's important to remember Foxtel, as it is named right now, will still control the broadcast and streaming. But at the end of 2031, things will get interesting. At this point, DAZN won't have broadcast rights to the AFL, and neither will Seven, so it will be open bidding once again. Maybe. Because of the international reach DAZN has, is it possible the AFL will fall down the priority list? The company has posted big losses in recent years, and their main focus right now seems to be with soccer. To say they don't want the broadcasting rights again and do something else with Foxtel, it could be a big win for consumers. It might leave 7, 9 and 10 in the bidding war for the AFL, which means a lot more free-to-air games every week. However, this would likely mean less revenue for the AFL themselves, with those networks not having nearly as much money as large streaming services. Another possible issue which we don't want is having multiple streaming platforms. For example, say Netflix and Amazon want the AFL but aren't willing to fork out billions for each game. Like what's going on in the NFL, Netflix might buy Friday night games and Amazon might hold the right to Thursday night games. It means to watch every match in the year, a consumer might have to have a Netflix, Amazon and other streaming service subscription. The AFL seems to be against this, but by 2031, if there is no big bidding war for the broadcast, or season coverage interest from a single large streaming service is low, it could be a way to keep revenue high. A lot can change in 7 years, but hopefully the AFL can at least keep some games free to air and keep subscription costs reasonable. But for now, we have nothing to worry about. The actual DAZN handover still needs to be confirmed and should officially take place mid-2025. It's a large investment from the company who right now are leading the way in sports streaming and spending up big time to make sure they retain that title in the future.